today's video, I want to go over 10 amazing benefits that walking provides, as well as give my perspective on some of those benefits. And stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to be going over a medical analysis document providing even further insight, a deeper look into more benefits of walking. So stay tuned for that, and let's get started. Number one, walking maintains a healthy weight and lose body fat. Number two, prevent or manage various conditions including heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, cancer, and type 2 diabetes. Number three, you improve cardiovascular fitness. Number four, you strengthen your bones and muscles. Number five, improves muscle endurance. Number six, increase your energy levels. Number seven, improve your mood, cognition, as well as memory and sleep. Number eight, improve your balance and coordination. Number nine, you also improve your immune system. And number 10, you reduce stress and tension. Now, doesn't that sound like really good, amazing benefits that you can just get from just simply walking? We know that fat loss is tied to walking and just general exercise in general. But when you're walking, the calories that you burn, the total calories that you burn from walking, a higher percentage of those calories are being burned from body fat, as opposed to, say, running, where if you're running, the ratio of body fat loss is a little bit, the percentage is lower. However, you stand to burn more total calories over the same course of time if you were to do more physically intensive movements like running, sprinting, jumping rope, and so on. But we're sticking with walking for now. Prevent and manage various conditions including heart disease, stroke, and high blood pressure. Now, the reason why that is, just to put it in layman's terms, when you're active, when you're physically active, going for runs, like this guy's doing. If you're jogging, you're running, you're being mobile. You are forcing your heart to work. It's like a workout for your heart, okay? And this is why you can increase your cardiovascular conditioning, because your heart is your cardio muscle, cardiovascular tissue. So the more you exert yourself by running, jumping rope, or just simply walking, you're going to get those benefits of a stronger and healthier heart to do the things that you like to do for longer periods of time, which is where you actually end up building endurance. Now, it can improve your energy as well, because as you're walking and you're being more physically active, you're taking in more oxygen. As a result, you're helping to circulate the blood throughout various parts of your body, which is therefore carrying additional nutrients and minerals to the muscles throughout your body, making you feel more rejuvenated, as opposed to just sitting on the bed, moping and just feeling like, the end of the world is here. So that brings me now to mood. Now, as I stated in the last video when I did with walk, which I'll link at the end of this one, so be sure to watch that. When you're feeling down, depressed, which I have, I've stated I've been depressed, I've been an alcoholic in the past, walking has definitely helped me, and I believe it can help you too. Because when you're out in nature, or even if you're just walking on the treadmill, maybe it's like 20 degrees outside, you don't feel like, freezing, but if you can get out and just move, that right there is the gateway to longevity. It's the gateway to a healthier life, and you actually will increase your lifespan. when you are improving yourself on the outside aesthetically, you're also improving yourself on the inside, coupled with your diet, being active. So by proxy, your immune system is going to get strengthened. You ever notice if you find yourself constantly getting sick all the time? A lot of times that has to do with poor diet, not being physically active. So if you change both of those things, you will find that you will get sick a lot less. Over the years, in speaking to people will say that they're stressed, they're depressed. Walking can help that. I'm overweight. I don't know where to start. I don't feel like going to the gym. Walking can solve that. I have trouble sleeping at night. It's hard for me to fall asleep. Walking can be the answer for you as well. So walking is one of those things that we can all do, but I feel like it's taken for granted. It's almost like this redheaded stepchild of the fitness world, where it's like if you're not running or jumping rope or doing the elliptical, you're not doing anything. That's a lie. So don't believe that. These benefits that I just rattled off toward the beginning of the video, and I will do it again one more time just for the hell of it. I'll go through really quick. Maintain a healthy weight and lose body fat. Prevent or manage various conditions including heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, cancer, and type 2 diabetes. Improve your cardiovascular fitness. Strengthen your bones and muscles. Oh, actually, let me touch on that real quick. So, because walking is a weight-bearing exercise, so whenever you walk, you're taking a step. Now, during that point, when you're taking that step, you're essentially 1 foot off the ground. You're 1 foot off the ground, so you're supporting your body weight on that leg. Not to mention balance, coordination, because if you don't have that, you'll just tip over. So when you're walking, in order for your hips to stay aligned, that requires muscles. This is why a lot of times, if you were to feel your core, if you're, once you come down in weight and you feel your core, you'll actually feel your muscles slightly engage as you're walking, because your muscles is kind of like making sure your hips aren't doing this. It's keeping your hips more steady. So this is where you can actually build muscular endurance in your hamstrings, your quadriceps, your calf muscles. Your core can get toned over time as well. So there's so many benefits, and I definitely urge you to definitely invest time into walking. You will not regret it. It will help you in so many different levels. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut this part, and then the next time you see me, I'm going to be home in front of my computer reading that medical analysis document. So stay tuned for that, and let's get after it. Okay, so I finally got back home. I have a lot of footage to cut through, cut and trim, edit, all that stuff as a YouTuber. But here is the document that I promised earlier in the video. Guidelines for Americans recommend that adults with chronic conditions do at least 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic physical activity weekly, if able. Walking is an exercise that meets this aerobic component and is associated with improving high blood pressure and body mass index and lowering the risk of diabetes, stroke, and cardiovascular disease and early death. Walking speed, duration, and frequency can be adjusted depending on one's starting fitness level. So that right there, that part right there, that ties into what I was talking about and how you can make the walks a little bit more challenging for yourself. You can quicken the pace, you can go up a hill, you can go for longer, you can do it 4 times a week, 5 times a week, the frequency. So it all ties in. It's very key to manipulate those metrics to get the most out of your walking. Now we see here, 6 things here. So let's cover this. Cardiovascular disease. Walking is often recommended to people with cardiovascular disease, or CVD, by their doctors because it is a relatively safe way for them to be more active. Yes, because if you have issues with your heart, you know, it's tough to put any strenuous load or to force your heart to do more work than what it is actually capable of doing. So walking is typically the de facto means of training and being active. So a meta-analysis of 32 randomized controlled trials found that walking increased aerobic capacity of the heart, lowered blood pressure, and reduced body mass index and body fat. However, a survey of more than 29,000 adults found that the prevalence of walking for exercise or leisure, was lower in those with more CVD risk factors. This may be partly due to people believing they need to walk long distances to see heart health benefit. Yet a randomized controlled trial of 40 adults with uncontrolled hypertension who were placed on a DASH diet and walking regimen were able to lower their systolic blood pressure by 15 points as compared with controls by increasing their steps by only 33%, or about 2,000 extra steps a day. So this whole article right here for me is very, very good. But let's look at obesity. Brisk walking is a popular activity for adults trying to control their weight. A meta-analysis of 22 randomized controlled trials found that brisk walking for about 3 hours a week, 3 hours a week, not even a day, you can definitely do that, caused significant reductions in body weight and body mass index, waist circumference, and fat mass in men and women with obesity under the age of 50. Women over 50 showed more modest changes in total weight loss due to increases in fat-free mass, internal organs, cells, water, and muscles, and there was insufficient data in men over 50. It's not to say it doesn't exist, but the data is kind of, well, you know what I mean. So when it comes to sleep, a walking intervention was conducted in 490 healthy adults, half of whom had been exercising regularly and the other half who did not exercise. Both groups participated in the intervention of walking 10,000 steps for 4 weeks and used a self-reported sleep quality questionnaire. The study found that in the non-exercise group, significant improvements were reported in perceived sleep quality, sleep duration, and sleep latency, the time to fall to sleep, whereas the regular exercise group reported only improved perceived sleep quality. It's sort of like you feel like you had a good night's rest, but when you wake up, you still feel as if you didn't have sleep. That's how I interpret that. The authors noted that this may have been due to the regular exercisers already sleeping well prior to the intervention, so that additional improvements in duration and latency would be limited. Other controlled trials have found that walking is more effective than yoga in helping to improve sleep quality in cancer patients. That's significant. Now let's look at depression and anxiety. Walking appears to have a positive effect on mental health, with the most evidence for depression. Some research also shows benefit for anxiety. I let it slip. Yes, I do deal with anxiety. It's a pain in the rear end, I'll tell you that much. Stress and loneliness. There may be positive effects on mental health related to the walking setting, such as in forests, parks, and other outdoor and natural environments. However, research in this area is still limited, and few studies have compared different types of walking on mental health. Commuter walking versus dog walking, or walking by choice versus by necessity, for necessity. And that's where I basically state that you need to deliberately and intentionally do walking. It can't just be you drove to the mall and you parked so close to the entrance where you could just roll out the car and you're there. It has to be more than just, oh, I'm shopping through the supermarket. That's good too, but what I really mean by intentional, I mean like you putting on your flip-flops, your shoes, you get your earbuds, whatever you need to do to get comfortable, and you go out intentionally for walking. You don't even have a destination in mind. You're just, or maybe you do, but you're definitely going out walking with intent on getting your steps, whether it's 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, it doesn't matter. So definitely get out there and walk. So moving right on, let's look at mortality. So let's flip these back. So mortality, a meta-analysis of 196 prospective cohort studies involving more than 30 million adults looked at the effects of differing amounts of exercise on the risk of early death. They found that participants who reported meeting minimum exercise guidelines of 150 minutes weekly of moderate exercise had a 31% lower risk of dying early compared with those who did not exercise at all. But even those who exercise half that amount at 75 minutes weekly benefited with a 23% lower risk of death. This translates to 11 minutes daily of brisk walk, dancing to 3 favorite high energy songs, or parking in the furthest spot from a building and taking a roundabout path to the entrance. Now, I'll conclude. Part of the reason for greater longevity was a decreased risk of chronic diseases like heart disease and certain cancers. The authors noted that if everyone met even half the recommended exercise guidelines, 1 in 10 premature deaths could be prevented. So, I want to, like I said, I'm gonna link that along with the video. Hell, I probably could have just had this whole section as the video, right? But I think it's very important to really zero in on that information, because you are essentially extending your lifespan by simply, that's it. And it's not even like you need to do a whole lot, for that particular benefit. Now, you would have to do quite a bit for, say, I would recommend doing a lot anyway. Just work up to it. Nobody is going to be able to run a marathon in one just to start. You have to train for it. So you may not be able to walk 10,000 steps. Maybe you're only walking 500 steps. Maybe you're walking 1,000. But you know what? Keep at it. I have faith in you. If you happen to be in a situation where you are overweight, you are obese, you feel like people poking fun, laughing at you, you don't like your quality of life, you don't feel good when you take your clothes off, you're getting shunned by your loved ones, you're getting depressed. The list goes on. I urge you. I really hope that this video, as long as it will end up being, I really hope that this video, with everything encapsulated as I'm trying to do, helps you, benefits you in some way. This is because I know what it's like to be feeling dejected, depressed. I've had those emotions, and I've lived through that, and I've gotten through that, and I believe you can too. Just put on those shoes, listen to some Joe Rogan or whatever podcast you got going on, and get started. Hopefully, I've earned a subscribe from you. Anyway, take care. Peace.